Cavin Elizabeth, a wedding photographer and bridal boutique owner based in San Diego, and today I'm going to be talking about different ways that you can personalize your wedding to make it maybe a little bit more unique and exciting to break away from the typical mold of weddings. First things first, I want to say that there is nothing wrong with the typical way that weddings are done. Weddings are great. Every wedding is beautiful and it is your wedding the way that you want it, and that is amazing. But if you are here because you want to figure out how to make your wedding more personalized and unique, and that is great. And I'm going to be talking about different ways that you can do that today. So first, why don't we talk about really the first thing that your guests see that's part of your wedding, and that is your invitation suite. So different ways that you can personalize your invitation suite. You can obviously hire somebody to create a custom suite for you, or if that is not in the budget, you can design something yourself, have it printed and send it out. So different ways that you can personalize your invitation suite through either one of those alleys is that you can actually have a drawing of your venue, or maybe a drawing of yourselves, or even like an illustration of one of your pets. You can always go that route, which is really cute. Just something that speaks to you or your wedding that really gives a personalized touch rather than just going with some sort of stock design, which again, there's nothing wrong with that, but just personalizing it to you makes it really exciting for your guests and gives them just a little touch of you for your wedding. Now, you would have obviously done this a long time ago. Maybe you haven't chosen your venue yet, and this is great because now you can really listen to this and maybe choose a venue that speaks to who you are. But when you are choosing your venue, this is a really great way to make it personalized to you. If you can choose a venue that speaks to some of your interests or your personalities, so for example, if you really love art and you're really artsy, maybe you could choose an art museum, something like that. Or maybe you can choose a museum that has a lot of sculptures somewhere around it. That can be a really great touch for your guests to show up and it's like, oh my gosh, this venue is so you, something like that. Or maybe you just choose a venue in a city that has something to do with your history. Maybe it's the city that you got engaged in. Anything that speaks to you or your personalities is going to be very personalized. And so that's going to tell your guests, hey, this venue, this city, this is very us and this is very unique to who we are. And that's going to give it a really very personalized touch for your wedding. Decor is going to be one of the biggest ways that you can personalize your wedding. And I see a lot of people that just throw decor at their wedding and they make it pretty or they make it very expensive, but they don't make it very them. You don't see their personalities in it. It just looks like another expensive wedding or just looks like another decorated wedding. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't see them in the wedding. I don't know who they are from their decor. Who are they? What are they like? What do they like? What are their interests? What are their personalities? I can't tell from their wedding decor, and there's nothing wrong with that again, but I want to know who they are. So show your personality in your wedding decor. A lot of people are really afraid of being not timeless, and that's really something that I see a lot of couples afraid to do, is to break away from that mold and be who they are and show their personalities in their decor. So if you can find ways to show who you are through your color palette or through the pieces that you choose in your decor or through your flowers, that is going to be one of the biggest ways that you can show your personality. So if you guys go look at the Instagram of Amorology, she was my wedding planner. She really is so good at taking couples' personality or their history or their interests and playing it out through some sort of a theme, and not in a really like trendy way at all, but in a really beautiful way. She's so good at this, and she really shows who couples are through their wedding, and it is absolutely amazing. She gets published on Martha Stewart, Style Me Pretty, The Knot, all these places all the time because it's just so inspiring, and she really shows who couples are. And she did our wedding, and she did an amazing job of taking one piece of our history when David and I first met and really weaving it through our entire wedding, and we were so blown away by the results, and everybody loved our decor and our story and all the little pieces of our wedding that showed who we were, and it was just so amazing, and we were so happy with our wedding, and we still love it to this day 2.5 years later. So if you can really show who you are or show a piece of your history or your interest or something like that in your decor, it's going to make it really memorable for your guest. One really easy way that you guys can be memorable and unique and personalized in your wedding is through your food, and it can be really affordable. So I once went to a wedding where they served Chipotle. It was one of their favorite foods. They didn't want to be fancy. They just had Chipotle at their wedding, and it was really good. Everybody loved it. It wasn't fancy food. I mean, maybe some people were disappointed that they didn't get a fancy meal, but I really liked it because I got to eat something that was really tasty. I knew it was going to be good, and it was good. And so you can do something like that. If it's one of your favorite barbecue places or one of your favorite Chinese food places and you want to have it at your wedding, have it at your wedding. Whether it's fancy or it's super affordable, you can have it at your wedding if your venue allows outside catering. Definitely think about the food at your wedding and think about what kind of food you want to have if your venue allows you the flexibility to do something like that. For your ceremony, you can read your own vows. Definitely don't stick to traditional vows if you're wanting to have a personalized ceremony. And then as far as walking down the aisle, if you are a bride, you can have both your parents walk you down the aisle if both of your parents are still living, or you can have somebody else entirely walk you down the aisle. You can have your best friend walk you down the aisle. Do whatever you want. This is your time. This is your day. This is your wedding. Do anything that you want to do. Who cares what other people are going to think? If you want to have your uncle walk you down the aisle, or your aunt, or your younger brother, do whatever you want. Just have somebody that you want to walk you down the aisle, or if you want nobody to give you away, walk yourself down the aisle. Walk right up there, be confident, do it in style, and go for it. So this is your time to shine. When it comes to your wedding party, you can have dresses for your bridesmaids that do not match. For your groomsmen, you could have the same thing. They could be in different color suits, maybe a bow tie that kind of blends them all together, something like that if they're in tuxedos. You could definitely mix things up. And then as far as your bridal party themselves go, your wedding party, you can have, if you're the bride, you can have bridesmaids and a man of honor or bridesmen, whatever you want to call them, but you don't have to have all women. If you've got guy friends, you can have them in your wedding party. You can mix it up. You don't have to have all of the same sex or gender. You can have different people in there. Same goes for your partner. If your partner is a man and they want to have a female friend in their bridal party, go for it. You can do that now. It's totally fine, and that's great. You want to have your best friends in your wedding party. Doesn't matter what gender they go by. You can have them in there. It's great to have all of your closest friends with you on your wedding day. Last thing I want to talk about is your reception. So typically receptions, at least in American culture, will have like the first dance, they'll have some speeches, they'll have parent dances, they'll have cake cutting, and then a lot of open dancing where everybody's on the dance floor. But it doesn't have to be that way. Now there's nothing wrong with that template, but it doesn't have to be that way. You could cut all of those things out, you could cut some of those things out, and you can add in your own thing. If you love going to open mics or maybe comedy shows, you could hire one of your favorite comedians to come perform at your wedding. They could get to know you before your wedding so they get some great material, and they could perform for like 10 minutes at your wedding about your wedding and about the two of you, and it could be really funny. You can do things like that. You can have, if you are of different cultures, you could have performers like a Vietnamese lion dance, or maybe you could have like Irish dancing at your wedding. Whatever it is that's a part of you or a part of your history or interest, you could have people perform at your wedding. It could be really fun and exciting. I once had belly dancers perform at one of the weddings I photographed, and they had snakes out there, and it was really cool, and all the guests thought it was absolutely amazing and super entertaining. So the sky is the limit. Don't be limited to the typical template if you don't want to be. You can really think outside the box here. This is your wedding. It's your time to shine. Do what you want to do for your guest and for you, and it will be really memorable, and people will say, that was so them. That was really them, and I had a really great time at that wedding. It was so unique and personalized and memorable, and people will really love it, and you will be so happy that you were so you, and you honored yourself, your history, your personality, and your interest. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it got you inspired to figure out ways that you can personalize your wedding so it feels more like you. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!